Well, hello, everyone. My name is Leslie Powers, and I'm one of the co-organizers for the Freedom Under Natural Law Conference. And we're gearing up for Funnel 5, Ignite Hearts and Minds. This is an event that will spark truth, love, and freedom. And this is a preview, a slight snapshot of one of our valuable presenters, David Rodriguez. So I want to welcome you, David, to chat with me today.
Thank you, Leslie and team. This is congratulations. It's a great honor to be with you on the funnel presentation number 5, the funnel conference. Very important work, and we just keep chopping away day by day, event by event. So it's great to be with you.
That's right. Thank you so much. Yes. And I think every year our conference is reaching more hearts and minds. And this is an event that we're looking forward to and very appreciative of your effort and your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Let's rock it. And all the audience members, it's going to be amazing. So make sure you join us in 2026.
that's right. And that'll be an online conference on February 21st and 22nd. You can go to the Freedom Under Natural Law website and get all the information. And let's start, David, with just updating the audience a bit on the evolution of your efforts in the freedom movement. You've been a real a warrior here for truth and freedom for years now, and I've noticed you shifting some of your focus and energy. Could you share a little about that?
Yeah. So I have been passionate about freedom ever since I met Ron Paul in 2012 and saw he was the champion of the Constitution and against the Federal Reserve. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then to see what they did to him in that election, it's like, huh, this doesn't seem like a fair handshake deal. Like it's not honorable. So I got involved. I started attending in Acapulco in 2015. I attended 6 straight years. I got to speak. I got to co-produce a couple years there and see the heart of where human consciousness seems to be going. And that is towards self-ownership, consent, full freedom, just don't harm anybody. Very simple concepts that I think people know logically. Yeah, Lysander Spooner's been an inspiration from 150 years ago. Murray Rothbard, 50 years ago, writing books. But how to get it into the culture has become a question. And that first year, I met Rob Hustle. Rob Hustle has the viral rap song called "Call the Cops." This is what happens when you call the amazing music video. Still has millions and millions of views and does well. But he said to change culture, it takes comedy, film, and music. And I would add TV shows in there too. And of course, literature. But people aren't reading as much books as they were in the past because it takes effort, it takes concentration and focus. And now it's just easy. You just pull up your device and you can watch shows and movies and, scroll and have, these short little clips. And I think that's when I started to I become more interested in comedy, because I always like laughing. Like everybody out there, we like to have a good time. And if you're laughing, you're actually expressing, I think, some of the highest frequencies of joy and peace. And there's a great quote that said, if you can laugh under any circumstance, you are free. And of course, that's a quote, but I think there's some truth to that, which is no matter what's happening with the digital ID, the CBDC, the forced jabs, all these things, businesses being shut down during the pandemic, which I'll talk about in a sec here, you're like, wow. So there's the part of us which is angry righteously, but that repels building community and relationships because the next level is solutions. And that's what we ended up discussing in Acapulco all those years. Eventually, you get to the conversation, which is, okay, what's the solution? And I came across the term that Derek Bros coined and John Bush helped promote is the exit and build. I think I heard about that 2018 or maybe it had been 2020 during the whole scamdemic, which is what can we do? And we don't need to ask permission from these politicians. And if you haven't read the Declaration of Independence, go read it. It says clearly you have unalienable rights that come from the Creator, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So that's 250 years ago now. Our rights don't come from the city, county, state, and federal governments. They come from Source, Creator, God, your humanity, yourself. The fact that you're a conscious being means you have the rights to life, to travel, to be free on your land, to grow crops, to collect rainwater, all these things they're trying to make you get a permit to do. You don't need that. So I started getting into comedy probably about 3 years ago. And the reason was that I want to talk more accurately and more uplifting and joyful, because there is that part of me that's but after we had the bonfire meetings in Santa Cruz, we did 70 of them in a row, 70 Saturdays in a row during the lockdown in Santa Cruz, which some say is the ground floor for Agenda 21. Super lefty, super statist people just bowing down, giving up their rights in a beautiful beach location. They were closing the beaches, in early summer. So we did civil disobedience week after week after week, and we helped open up the beaches there in Santa Cruz. And the health officer came out, and this is on video. She said, "We were hoping to keep the beaches closed, but the people are not willing to be governed anymore." And that is the energy that's rising. Whatever they have coming, which is probably going to be lockdowns or digital ID or whatever it is, you have to do what we say. You say, "No, thank you." And we start questioning their authority, which is the correct response. When somebody starts to harm you, use force, aggression, or a badge. Let's see if I got my badge here. Oh, I do. This is the badge that says, "Shiny badges do not grant extra rights." I think I got it at PorkFest one of these years from copblock.org. We were asking them, do you own the beach? Who owns the beach? How do you have authority to shut the beaches down? So we did some other activist things. We did maskless shopping. We did cash drops, where we would go in, get an item, and hand write a receipt, like a $3 or $4 item. And they would say, "We're not going to serve you." And we would drop the $5 bill on the cash register and then leave. And that Trader Joe's video went super viral. So rather than trying to protest or be an activist in that regard, which is fine, I appreciate everybody taking action. That's the main thing. You got to get up off your bottom and do something. It's the exit and build philosophy, which we spoke about in those early years, which is you don't change reality by fighting against it. You got to create a new model that makes the old model obsolete. So it's a big idea, but it's an idea that I think has legs and power and hope, versus going to the city council, the supervisors meeting, wherever, and asking for permission. Again, I know everybody's fine in their own way in the Freedom Awakening. So if that's your jam, do it. If you want to keep doing that, that's fine. My cause is towards the children. When I spoke in Mexico, it's often about homeschooling or getting the children out of the school system. I published a book with John Taylor Gatto about the history of the school system. So to understand where this system came from is like, wow, it's just unbelievable that this system is doing that. So the idea is to shift culture. That's kind of what this initial conversation is about, is culture and people's ideas, values, and beliefs in action. So I'm glad this conference is about, inspiring and changing the hearts and mind of people, because logically we know we're free. Logically, that's there, but then there's a way that we are being in our actions and in our words. And it's basically a new paradigm that is coming for humanity. And it's for so many years, it's been trying to explode, but they've been trying to suppress it through media, through schools, through, I would say, derogatory or maybe name calling, like sovereign citizens, and in my research, that's just an oxymoron. You're either sovereign, which is the highest authority over yourself, like a king or a queen, or you're a citizen, which is a subject of another entity. So when a cop, because I was doing right to travel activism in Santa Cruz and in San Jose for 3-4 years, the cops would come up and I would say, he says, "Well, I need your license, your registration." And I say, "Oh, well, I'm not a driver. I'm a traveler." And the first thing he said is, are you a sovereign citizen? So it's like, so they actually have this type of training in the police academy because the state has to protect its own survivability. And that's the number one goal of all institutions, is to survive, is to exist. And it's just a violent, coercive organization that is going down. But through the minds and hearts of people, we can give them these ideas, and comedy is one way. And I haven't really announced it yet because we haven't finalized the title, but director Renee Perez and I finished a short film a few days ago, actually. So we got to do some post-production and get ready to I think we'll release it in maybe January or February next year. But it's a movie about a farmer who rejects the digital ID and all the excitement of that and the righteousness of that. There's some amazing dialogue. He's a great director. And so it's these types of media projects to get into the consciousness. And so film, music. Grant Presence is doing amazing stuff out there. I think he might be on your show, or he's been on the show many
Yeah.
times here.
Yeah.
He's
He
doing
will be.
amazing stuff.
Yeah.
I was watching his live show in Rise and Vibes earlier this year, last night, and it's 90 minutes of just very uplifting, optimistic truth, talking about personal responsibility. And it's basically we don't change the outside world, we change the inside world. And whoever wants to come along with us, let's go. And if you
Yeah.
don't, that's cool too. But we see where they're going. England is in trouble, and China, of course, and maybe Thailand and these places. If you don't know where your freedoms come from, if you don't know that you truly are the highest authority on the earth over yourself, then you're very confused. So that idea liberated me. I got excited about that idea. And now it's been a matter of going to events, learning and connecting with people like you and Chris and your team. Some of these people I have so much respect for. And now I think people are starting to get to the next level of culture creation. And even this stuff is fine. This is great platform and communication levels, because we want to show people art. For me, art is like one of the most liberating things, because art is expression. Art is a character. I just did a comedy show last night in Mount Shasta, California, with DJ Sandu and another comedian. But when I'm on stage, it's an act. It's a show. You and I are just shooting, the conversation right now as humans and people. But on stage, you grab a mic and it's an act. It's a performance. Just like if Grant was up there singing, he's not up there trying to tell his opinions. He's performing the art that he has created, and art should uplift the heart. It should uplift the spirit. And at least, I think, as the old ancient sages mention, focus on what's beautiful, focus on what's good, and focus on what's true. Those are good aims, the old art. And you see the modern art is opposite of that. And it's like ugly, and it like makes you feel bad or like weak. But there's something inside of us, and I would consider it maybe a spirit or a soul or something greater. I don't know, but there's something magical in each one of us here now that is inside of this body that wants to express and be free, whether just in society or expressively. That's why the First Amendment is the first one, is to right to express yourself. As long as you don't threaten anybody, you're allowed to say profound shit, man. You're allowed to say the most obscene stuff, as long as it's not threatening another person's right or life or property.
Yeah.
So
I like what you're saying,
I think
David.
art is right there, and that's kind of the shift that my thought process had.
That's awesome. And as we all know, entertainment is something, well, people appreciate being entertained. They seek entertainment. They seek shifts of their consciousness and their state of being, right? And so if someone's sad, they like to laugh, and it helps them to feel more hopeful and more motivated. And so when you're going into the kind of the entertainment world of comedy, of music, of film, it is an opportunity to impact culture and help maybe attract more people into listening and opening their mind, right, from a more relaxed state. So
It is, and when you
yeah,
go somewhere for entertainment, you go to relax, your subconscious mind is open, and I think that's why movies are so powerful. And they put very subtle programming in movies. If you pay attention to some of the most famous movies, it's very subtle. They want to make the man weak and small, and make a, I don't know, strong feminist woman or something like that. Or it's nothing wrong with being strong, but just like having unity is important, and they try to divide the masculine from the feminine, and that's how it plays out in society. So the entertainment component is very important. So I try not to preach too much during my comedy sets, because it is entertainment. So I try to bring the humor first and then put some truth in there. But what's been going on the last 5 years, the last 20 years, the last 50, 100 years, it's just like you're looking around. I'm looking around. I'm like, man, is anybody going to say something? And so that's why in my presentation, I'm going to have some clips from George Carlin, from Steve Hughes. A lot of people don't know about him, but he's awesome. Bill Hicks, even Dave Chappelle to a degree, Jim Brewer, Mort Saul. And it's going to be hard to get them all in there. But the main thing is, if you're laughing or you're watching a movie and enjoying, now they're open to hear these truths, that government's illegitimate. You are the highest authority of your life. Just don't harm any people. And this seems to be the great self-ownership awakening that's exciting for me.
that's exciting. Yes. So there's a little sneak peek of your presentation at Funnel 5. Anything more you want to give away, or shall we hold our breath and wait?
Well, I'll give you the title. I'll give you the title that I sent to you. It says Laughter Accelerates Truth. Why Comedy is Crucial for the Great Self-Ownership Awakening. And the reason, this is another kind of thing I haven't mentioned too much, but I was in a car accident early this year, and I broke my sternum, and was in some pain. I couldn't laugh for like a month. So no sneezing, coughing, or laughing. And I'm just like, anytime you're about to sneeze, you got to hold a pillow so your sternum doesn't go out like this. So I learned that laughter is a gift from God, from my parents, ancestors, whatever you might call it. I call it, creator. So I got to feel that, because I was actually had to pause my comedy work for a few months and begin to go inside. I'm reading a book by Tolstoy called The Kingdom of God is Within You. Yogananda had a concept like that as well. I think even Gandhi too. So this idea that this body is the temple and this body is its own nation is a concept that I'm working on too, because this is liberation, this is empowerment, this is equality, this is freedom, this is the next evolution of human consciousness, in my view, because the state and the coercive monopoly is so outdated, is doing so much damage over the last 100 years. And just in the last 5 years, I think Dr. Peter McCullough and Dr. Brian Artist estimated 7 to 14 million people were killed by the jab. I mean, that is unacceptable. That is intolerable. So there's a shift coming, and hopefully we see these guys give up their medical licenses and all these licenses and permits that you don't need. You just believe that you need them because of your schooling, media. And at some point, you're going to say, I don't need a piece of paper to help somebody get better. I don't need a piece of plastic to move my private property on the common byways. So this is, such a beautiful time. And I think art and all these conversations, media, are super important to help elevate the consciousness around this topic.
Yeah, so eloquently spoken, David. Every time I talk to you or I hear you speak, I'm inspired. So I know that our audience will also walk away with inspiration. And I'm wondering, what else would you like people to have ignited within them towards maybe action or growth?
Well, I tell you what, I got excited because just in the last probably month, I found a way to print my own clothes. And I don't know if you can see that, voluntary living. Can you see that? Okay. So I have this.
Yes.
I'll be releasing a store soon, so you can support that. There's another logo, which It was the name of my show, and I still refer to it. Here's the Freedom Lovers. Okay, we have that, and then we have the hat. There's hat as well. But hey, when I wear this, I feel good. I'm out there, and my friend was wearing that pink sweatshirt, and they said, "Oh, that's a great sweatshirt. Where can I get that?" I said, "Okay, we'll let you know shortly. You can get that shortly." So when I wear this type of clothing, it feels great because I am kind of like shining a light of some kind. And I was a big Nike and Nautica guy back in the day, which are cool logos, but I'm seeing that they've used the brand loyalty to mind control us and get us deceived into what their agendas are. And if you look around, there's very few moral leaders. I would consider you one, Chris, Passio, Larkin Rose, Etienne de la Boesie, Derek Bros, John Bush, a handful of people, Richard Grove. There's a handful of people that are doing amazing work, Jason Basler. And
Yeah, Will
and it's
Keller.
like, is that it? Is this us? And it's like, yes, this is us. We
Yeah.
are the ones, and that's okay. That's enough. We have enough. So let's keep shining, finding your own areas to pursue your passions and excitements, your joys. And it is scary at first, and it is risky at first. But then once you cross some type of threshold, you say, you know what? This is good, and this is honorable, and this is what I am supposed to be doing. And of course, you can change up and move any direction that you want. But this type of clothing, comedy, film, I still feel rookie and amateur in all these areas. But it doesn't matter what the others might feel or say. I'm excited by it. So that's what's the best part. For the comedy thing, I have interesting because I'd been thinking about comedy for a long time, but it's scary, man. It's scary. So I went to some open mics. I took a couple classes, and I realized that, well, here's what Ralphie May said. Ralphie May said, for the first 8 years in comedy, you have no idea what you're doing. And then Theo Vaughn said, for the first 10 years in comedy, I was failing. So the message is stay the course, keep going, keep writing, keep performing, keep dancing, whatever your thing is. Life is the journey of finding your courage, finding your voice. In comedy, they call it your comic voice. But maybe you have a different way to express yourself. Maybe it's interviews, and maybe it's music or hardware. So much for Hakeem Anwar, for the above phone and this technology. We need the engineers, we need the software people. You don't got to be a crazy man like me out here saying all these things. You can be behind. We need videographers. Director Rene Perez is one of these guys, very calm and stoic guy. We did a few interviews about movies, but he's very different personality, but still believes in this truth and says the truth with his camera. And he's made over 40 movies. So it's just an opportunity to find our deep core values and a community of people. I think that's what FUNL is all about, is you find other people. That's what I love watching, these types of events you guys produce, is you're like, wow, like there's a lot of people. Like you could on here, and what is there? There's a 30 or 40 presenters, or how many people do you have on your FUNL conference this next year?
Well, we probably have 13 spots or 14 for speakers, but then we have artists and we have music, coming through as well. So we're not just sticking to the spoken presentation style.
Yeah.
So there's more people, and then there's people behind the scene in the organization of this conference.
That's right. Well,
So
I guess I've
levels.
seen so many over the past couple years, and people that I'd never met before either, So I'll find these people, and then I'll go friend them on Facebook or follow them, on
Yeah.
Instagram or whatever. And it's beautiful when you see that you're not the only one.
Yes,
You
and
know,
we'll always bring in someone new, someone who's beginning in their efforts to present or hasn't spoken in this kind of arena before. So yeah, we will bring in new people, and it's a lovely place for connection in the chat, and inspiration and networking and so forth. So there's a
yeah.
lot to be gained. So
Yes,
I'm
good.
looking so forward, David, and to your presentation and to the inspiration that you bring to the whole conference. Please share with the audience where they can find your work, where they can stay in touch with you, your process here.
Yeah, yeah. You should be able to find my link tree at DavidJamesRodriguez.com. And if not, you can find me on Instagram, same name, and Facebook and YouTube. The YouTube channel is Voluntary Living, and that's why I've named it as such, because hey, I love freedom, and we got the freedom lovers gear too, but I want to know how you're living, because that's what the future is how are you living? If you're getting your money through coercive people, it doesn't matter if you have $1 billion, in my view. It's through voluntary interactions. And that's why I got this. So you should be able to see, I think there'll be a link there for this probably in the next few days. But yeah, find out about some of these things and wear what you want. But you are a very important person, listener, and you, Leslie, and this team. This is the future of humanity, in my view, the great self-ownership awakening. And I'm just using one way to do it is through laughter. And the film will be out next year. If you want to do an interview about the film, anybody, please let me know. We'll give you a trailer and let you see it. It's about a 28-30-minute movie. We did it on a shoestring budget, but we got a great actor, Danny Hassel from LA. We have an amazing female lead as well. So it's going to be a great story, and we need help to promote the movie independently, directly. But it's a great story about slamming the digital ID. So it's going to rock. And just like your conference, thanks for all the good work that you're doing. Reach out to me anytime. And I'm so grateful that you guys are voluntariest friends on the earth. This is the way forward, in my opinion, the path to victory. And it's always a joy to be with you, Leslie, and the entire team. And I can't wait to deliver this presentation very soon. Sounds like February 2026 is when this amazing conference is going to happen. And it's just a joy and privilege to be with you.
Yes, thanks so much, David. Yes, February 21st and 22nd on the new year, 2026, coming up online. Go to freedomundernaturallaw.com and get the details. We look forward to it. Again, thank you. See y'all at the conference.
Peace, love, freedom. Love you guys. Bye.
So, natural law is a set of universal, inherent, objective, non-man-made, eternal, and immutable conditions which govern the consequences of behavior of beings with the capacity for understanding the difference between harmful and non-harmful behavior. FUNL 5, a free 2-day online conference.
Ignite hearts and minds.
The event that will spark truth, love, and freedom.
February 21st and 22nd, 2026.
For more information, visit freedomundernaturallaw.com.